Hey, it's Kevin Gammy. Welcome to BSB TV. Today we're doing Raw and Raw, which really is about a focus on mental health. And just for something a little bit different, I'm actually talking to Ronnie Glazier from Bohemian Coaching. The reason I'm talking to Ronnie is there's a really strong correlation between mental health and physical health. And we all know the negative impacts of if we're under stress for too long, we can get heart conditions and cancers and that sort of stuff. That's pretty well documented. But it also works in reverse, that improving your exercise regime can help decrease risks of stuff. Hey, Ronnie.
Correct. Yes, 100% correct on that one.
So tell us a little bit more about yourself and Bohemian Coaching, how you got there.
Bit of background, really. I was probably, I wouldn't say depressed when I was younger, but I was in a bad place and overweight and etc. I decided to myself look for personal training advice and hired a trainer. What I achieved with that trainer physically and mentally completely turned my life around. I was 23 and then just didn't know where I was going. So after working with him for 3 years, decided to come PT myself, which has now led on to doing my online coaching business. And
so this story is really, really personal to you. Like the whole start of this is, yeah, you're a bit overweight and you were, feeling down, you're feeling anxious and feeling the stresses of life.
Yeah, I felt the pressures of early 20s, to be honest. I was sitting on my ass playing Xbox and PS4, eating lots of biscuits, and didn't really want to do much and didn't feel confident enough to do much. So I realised I snapped out of it, clicked my fingers, and then joined the gym, found a coach. And to be honest, that's the reason I love my job so much, is because I sort of tend to work with clients in a similar place at the start and try and bring them out of that.
Fantastic. So, and it's not, as you said, you're a bit overweight and you just weren't motivated. You started exercising from that perspective, and you found that the improved mental health that went with that was absolutely amazing.
Well, yeah, I suppose being overweight was obviously just an image thing, but mentally, probably more so for me when I started, I just had no drive. I had no reasons. Forgetting how I looked, because at that age, I really didn't care how I looked. And I think for me, just realizing that at 24 years old, you can't live life feeling like I did, and constantly feeling like shit.
Absolutely. Look, as a small business owner myself and running our community, I do find that there is a really high correlation between, and let me just grab the microphone a little bit closer. I find that there is a really high correlation between the activity that I'm running and how resilient I am, which is probably the best way of putting it.
Okay.
I find that, So what I find is that if I start exercising a little bit more, anything that happens is just a little bit less important. You can roll with it much better.
Yeah, I suppose it gives you a different focus sometimes on days, and when you've got a stressful day ahead, and it could be a very successful day or a very bad day. That little bit of exercise does clear your head a little bit, and I suppose in a way is a knock-on effect for what's going to happen the day after and the day after and the day after.
Absolutely. Now, you had a few stats around that. The Australian Health Organisation or whatever were coming up with 20 to 30 minutes of exercise a day. What was the impact of that?
I did a bit of research earlier this week after we decided to have this call, and it's actually related to depression. So if you try and get yourself to do 20 to 30 minutes of exercise a day, doesn't have to be in the gym, doesn't have to be that intense, just activity. It will actually reduce the risk of depression by a quarter. Which
26%, I think you told me.
26%, yeah. 26%.
It's important to actually give really good stats, because when they're all nice and round, I never believe them. But 26%, which is fantastic. So when you're saying you don't have to go to a gym and stuff, so if I go for a purposeful walk, so I'm not just going for a stroll. If I go for a purposeful walk with my beagle, he wants to go along at a fair clip. Trust me. So if I'm going for a walk with him, around 5-6 kilometers an hour, I'm doing that for 20, 30 minutes. Is that enough, or does it need to be more intense than that?
I like to think walking as general activity. I've always told my clients, and I've always been told myself since an early age, early 20s, that make that normal. So that should be normal day. I'm just talking about something extra on top of that every day. Again, I totally get I totally get that when people have time restrictions, and I think this figure is great. I think when I researched it, that most people can commit to 20, 30 minutes a day, and if they can't, they got to stop scrolling through Facebook, because they're going to spend more time on Facebook, or they're going to be spending more time doing other things that they feel is more important, but really isn't.
Absolutely. As we were talking earlier, I've been doing the walk for the Black Dog Institute this month, and committed to doing at least 60 kilometres. I'll probably go close to 100 by the time we finish, which is fantastic.
Nice.
I'll actually put a link in here, because that's to support research into mental health and how we can improve our mental health scenario. So I'll put a link into this post in a minute. But you've also got some other stats around generally how fluid, I guess, or active Australians are on things too.
I've got three actually, Kevin. The first one that I think stood out was there's a 30% of Australian people only partake in exercise once a week. And again, once a week to be healthy and to be fit isn't really going to impact your life that much. And that's not high enough. And I also found another one which shocked me a little bit, and this is going back to 2019, as the end of 2019, that 2 in 3 adults are classified as obese and overweight. And again, you can say the same. That's 2 in 3 people. That's high.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I did find one more as well to just add to that one. It's from in regards to exercise routines. Basically, the guidelines suggest that we should do between 2.5 to 4 hours of exercise a week. And if you break that down across 6-7 days, it's not a lot. It's really not a lot. If you think how many hours there are in a week, and they just want people to do it at maximum 4 to 4 hours a week, it's doesn't account to much.
Absolutely. And as you said, 20 minutes a day we should be able to find. There's lots of little breaks that we have, and give ourselves a little bit of a mental break. So if we were doing that now, you've actually got you help train people in the comfort of their own home, and you
Correct.
basically do online coaching with them.
Yes, and that's recent actually. I've transitioned to that recently. It wasn't COVID that made me do this. It's something I wanted to do for a while. I think COVID just made it more apparent and made it happen quicker.
Hey, there's been lots of great byproducts of COVID, I've got to say. Like the whole situation bad. However, we've learned to become a lot more efficient. I believe that a lot of small businesses are going to save a lot of money, because now they've worked out that they can work from home. We're not driving all around town. Great effects for the environment when we're not using our cars as much and all that sort of stuff. There's been, rivers are cleaned up and all that sort of stuff. So there's been lots of, don't be scared about there being a good byproduct.
Yeah, well, so I say I want to do it for ages. Like when I moved to Australia 3 years ago, it was on my checklist. But this actually made it real and made it happen. Invested 4 months of my time and a little bit of money to make the platform what it is. And it's not just Zoom. It's not just workouts that get sent to you weekly. There's a whole portal involved. You get a huge package where you get live workouts. You're getting nutritional advice. On top of that, you're getting access to my apps. You get a weekly phone call with me. So it's an accountability call. And this is on Zoom as well, which I basically can call you out and tell you you're not doing as you're told if I don't see some changes.
That makes me nervous. Look, accountability is something that is so critical to us, because quite often we feel like we've got to serve everybody else, but sometimes when it comes to ourselves, we don't feel the same pressure to make sure that we're being of service to ourselves. So having that accountability, absolutely. I know that a lot of small business owners, don't work as hard for themselves as they used to when they're in corporate world. and
Yeah.
bringing that. It's the same with their health as well. So I do appreciate that. So what's involved in, you're talking about a 28-day challenge. What's involved in a 28-day challenge?
Initially, I would like to teach people as much as I can in that time. I'd obviously been doing the job for 14 years, so I can't teach them everything in 28 days. But it's a case of I'd like to educate them in what they can do for the rest of their lives. Yep. And in that 28 days, it'll just be habits, routine, not basic knowledge of nutrition. What works for some might not work for others, and I totally get that. This is why I only take on a certain amount of clients every month on the challenge or my memberships, because yep. they need my special attention. It's not as if you're going to be the same as the person next door. Every client will have the individual attention they deserve. Absolutely.
Your 28-day challenge, normally it's $350, you were saying, or $349 or something like that.
$349, yeah.
Strangely enough. So normally it's $349, but if someone, you mentioned, you got a special deal.
Yeah, and that's only for Showcase members, Kevin. I'm basically giving any Showcase member of BSB, if they sign up before the end of November, not to pay for anything, just for the free challenge, the entire month free. So they're basically getting a taste of what could be for free for a month. And that's only valid for Showcase members.
Fantastic. And it's a great try before you buy type scenario. So if you've been thinking about you need to get off your backside and do something, now's the time. I'm going to accept that challenge.
I was going to invite you, don't worry.
Do you consider me a Showcase member? That's a funny thing. So, yeah, look, of course I am. Chew-proof dog beds. We're Showcase members. Awesome. Thank you very much. So, look, I'm going to accept your challenge. And what we will do is I'd love to have a weekly chat with you.
Yep.
Where you can hold me accountable in front of Brisbane small business for actually doing the right thing. Can we start it after Melbourne Cup though? Because I am a racing fan.
Well, I'm not going to say when it has to start. Like I said, it's if somebody wants to start at the end of November, as long as it's done before Christmas, which is what I'm looking for. But there's also one thing as well. What I'm going to be doing later on my personal page is I'm going to be doing a live, and that is basically to shout at everybody that always says to me the same thing. It's I'll start Monday, or I'm going to wait till the new year, I'll start the new year. And that's one thing I can never get.
That's it. Monday's not a great day to start because you're always going to break Monday anyway. So we might even start Thursday after Melbourne Cup. Actually, we do need to negotiate this. There's so much happening in my life in November.
You're already making excuses. What are you doing? Don't you make excuses?
Am I allowed to have fun and do the challenge?
Well, in all fairness, I think life is about having fun. So if I was making your life unhappy and you weren't having fun, then it wouldn't be right, would it?
Okay. Then what we'll do, we'll actually start on Monday. And I know you say don't start Monday, but we will start on Monday. And you and I will get together. We'll have a chat about what we need to do so that I can get kick-started on your challenge.
Yep, sounds good.
And then we've got 4 weeks.
Yep, 28 days. And you'll be very surprised, honestly, what you can achieve and what you'll learn in that time.
Absolutely. No, really excited, looking forward to it. If you're a Showcase member, just reach out to Ron. What we will do is we'll put we'll get you to go into the group and put a link to your listing in BSB so that people can actually do that. You've got a landing page that people can actually go to straight away. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll also attach in the same link my Calendly booking app, my Calendly booking link, which it basically will give you access to my diary, and then we can link up and get a call together and just sort of get you ready.
That's great. So look, as much as I'm trying to make a million excuses so that I can not have to do this, I've said to the world I'm going to do this. So Monday, we're doing it.
I'll have to send you my diary link, and you can book in a good time. We'll have a chat Monday.
Absolutely. Have you got some free time on Monday?
I'll make some. I will make some for you, Kevin. Don't worry about that.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to get started. I want to invite everyone else to come along and enjoy the challenge with Ronnie. If we can get a few more people there so I don't feel all alone doing it, that would be truly awesome, because I would love some small business owners to be looking after themselves and their businesses and having a lot of fun as we go through this exercise together.
And enjoying
Thanks very
life.
much for your time, Ron.
Okay, cheers, Kevin, mate.
Thanks. Bye now.
Bye.